The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 188, with The Darkest Hearts.
The Darkest Hearts.
What is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. That sample you just heard was Mississippi Devil by the Darkest Hearts, who I've got on the show with me right now. They've got an EP out called Loose Ends and Ashes with a new LP on the horizon. Right now I'm being joined by John Kermigian to share some stories about the music and share more info about the band. So John, welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Fantastic. One of the last days of summer, I believe. How are things with you?
Can't complain. We just played a sold out show last night with our friends in Halsey and Way, and a new band coming out of Nashville called Burning Yesterday, which is some old friends from some other bands, and a new band that I haven't heard before called Daylight Sinners, they were all amazing. So it was a good night, good show. I'm
fantastic.
Excited to just get back to writing, honestly.
Cool. Let's go listen back to that track, Mississippi Devil.
I don't want
Mississippi Devil, definitely a killer track. Now, for Rock Nation who hasn't heard the rest of the EP yet, I mentioned in the pre-roll, I definitely hear a lot of growth as a band, so we can definitely get into that. I also get a massive Southern influence as well. Obviously, it's called Mississippi Devil. John, why don't you go and take us through the story or inspiration behind it?
Well, Mississippi Devil was actually started by Luke. And Luke started writing the song because he was talking to a girl from Mississippi. And she started to get under his skin, you know, that kind of girl that you can't stop thinking about, that kind of thing. So started doing that, and he came to me with the tagline, the guitar part. And he came to me with that, and then he also had ideas for the chorus, and he let me run with it, and I just kind of took it from there based on his idea and wrote the song around that. Cool.
Did he ever get to be with this girl?
No, she moved.
Aw. Darn.
But she did give us a great song.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I'm not sure which one's better.
Exactly. Well, at least with this particular song, we can chat about it. So, I mean, I think that's definitely promising.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm curious with regard to the tracks on the EP and then this track. As I mentioned, it kind of sounded like there was a bit of growth as a band, or maybe growth as writing. What was the process like in crafting some of the newer material?
So the reason the EP is called Loose Ends and Ashes is because Luke and I actually did the EP when it was just me and Luke. We hadn't even formed a band yet. It was just the two of us. We created The Darkest Hearts and then did a studio EP. So that's just Luke and I writing all those parts. But what happened is I had a song that I really wanted to retrack, and Luke had a song that he really wanted to retrack. So we put those two songs, which Luke wrote Listen and I wrote Resistance. And then we put those two songs on the EP. But then I also had a lick that I wanted to work out, which is Mistakes. So we had Mistakes starting, and then Luke helped me finish that. So then we had a song that we wrote together, and then he had a lick, which is Disappear. And so I wrote over that. So there's two songs that were written by the two of us, and then one song that was written by each of us. So it's like finishing up the pre-Darkest Hearts things that we left on the table, as well as building our writing style together.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you guys still the main driving force in the band when it comes to writing?
Yes, we do the majority of the writing. We also have Daniel Castle in the band now. He's the other guitar player, phenomenal guitar player. If you go on Facebook, you can see some of his insane noodling that he does. Which I play guitar, but I can't do anything like that.
I can't tickle it the way he does, eh?
No.
Fantastic.
That dude's fingers are so fast.
Now, for Rock Metal Nation who dug the track Mississippi Devil, if you go to today's show notes, that's www.therockmetalpodcast.ca. You can go and see the lyric video for it. Now, for a lot of times, people think that lyric videos are just lyrics on a screen, but they're actually becoming quite creative endeavors. I'm curious, Sean, if you wouldn't mind taking us through the production of the lyric video.
Well, the lyric video, we actually subbed out production. There's a guy it's called Snake Productions. I believe he's out of Indiana. And the lady that's in there as the voodoo priestess is actually his wife.
Oh.
And all of that was filmed by him in different places around and in his area.
Cool.
So the whole video was actually just him putting together the B-roll and like getting some good footage of his wife doing the strange things with the candles and the voodoo doll. So that's kind of how that one came together. But he's done some other lyric work for other people, and we liked the way that his videos came together. So we wanted to go ahead and just put something out and get something that we were happy with. It took us a little while to get it exactly where we wanted it, but once it was there, I mean, we're all really happy with the way it turned out. So
Absolutely. Let's go listen to the next track, Mistakes. Metal Nation, it's John from the Rock Metal Podcast for a real quick break to let you know that Jay over at Metal Mayhem Radio is looking to help you get your band in rotation on his station. So go ahead and hit up Jay at studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. That is studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. Just go ahead and say that the Rock Metal Podcast sent you. He'll get you into rotation on Metal Mayhem Radio. I come back from Mistakes now. As we mentioned, it comes from the EP Loose Ends and Ashes, and you were saying it's a lick that you wanted to work out, and then Luke came in and helped finish it. I'm curious if you wouldn't mind taking us through the story or inspiration behind Mistakes.
Well, I grew up in California, and Luke grew up in Pittsburgh, but we both had a lot of friends that were really addicted to drugs of all kinds. And I don't know if you guys have that same kind of issue up there that we do down here, but like painkillers, opioids, heroin, things like that are just taking people out left and right. So the song Mistakes is basically about losing the fight to addiction. It started out with just the lead lick that starts the song off, and that's what I had to start off the whole song, was that and the verse parts. And Luke came up with the rest of it.
Wow. Definitely a deep topic, and I think it affects all of us regardless, really, of where we're at, because I could use the excuse that, well, the further north you get, the crazier people get, because there's either sunlight or no sunlight for months at a time. So definitely in those communities, they have some issues, but I think generally, no matter where we're at, for whatever reason, people tend to, sometimes people tend to gravitate towards those substances for whatever reason they might have. For any of those who are listening, obviously, hopefully if you can find a helpline or something of that nature, if that's something that is overtaking you at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always a reason to do it. It's finding the one reason that tells you not to.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, John, if you mentioned that they've got the EP, which we've chatted about quite a bit, and then we've also got a new LP that The Darkest Hearts is working on. So if you wouldn't mind taking us through, what should we expect with the new album that's going to be coming out?
Well, like I said, the first album was kind of remnants of mine and Luke's writing past, and then, that was put out as a way to kind of get some interest and find the right people, as well as finish up the things that we felt we needed to get off our plate before starting a new project. So the new project is going to have a lot more Daniel involved in it. We've got, probably 60 songs that we're like combing through and trying to put fine tuning on to see what's going to make it onto the album. And we're looking for a little bit more heavy probably than the current EP, something in the range of the Mississippi Devil kind of sound. But we like to try and stay in the middle of the road, honestly, because we have so many different influences that it's really impossible for us to say it's going to be a Southern rock album or it's going to be a hardcore album or anything like that. I mean, as like you can hear from Listen is somewhat poppy, but it also has a little bit of a punk feel. Mistakes has a little bit of a punk feel, but it's also kind of strange in its own way. Resistance has got a good folk feel, but it's also rockin', and I don't know, man. It's really difficult to say what it's going to sound like, but I know that we are putting everything we have into it, and I'm super happy with the way that it's come out. But I do know that there is going to be a ballad on it, which we don't currently have out.
Wow, cool. Now I'm curious, do you have an idea of when the album will be finished and released?
Not at the moment. Like I said, we're in the process of doing the eliminations, and once we do that, we have to get some pre-production done to make sure that the songs are where we want them and that we can get the sounds we want to get out of them. And once we do that, we'll hit the studio, but we will be announcing that hopefully shortly.
Cool. Which brings us to the next logical question, which is, how can Rock Metal Nation find out more about you guys? Is there a website that they should go to?
Yes. You can go to www.thedarkesthearts.eu. We have both the EU and the .com, so you can kind of pick whichever one works best for you. But we also have a Facebook page. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, any digital music place you can get us.
Okay. Well, John, unless there's anything else you wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come onto the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing the darkest hearts with Rock Metal Nation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a good talk.
There are too many mistakes to make to ask for an apology.
All right, Rock Metal Nation. Hopefully you just found your new favorite band in The Darkest Hearts. Big thanks again to them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.
Rock my mission.